Today, we're reviewing all that we've learned in 2017, so stick around. Hello, colorists. Welcome to Pencilstash, a weekly show all about coloring. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to get all the new content, and be sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying my videos. Hello there! I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas holiday. The new year is almost upon us, and I don't know about you, but 2017 went by way too fast. So I thought it would be fun to do a year in review video covering all the highlights that we've gone over in videos throughout 2017. You know, like those clip shows from the 90s. It'll kind of be like that, but hopefully better. And hopefully a great reminder of all the fun things we've learned throughout the year. So let's jump right into it. Number 1, shading with an opposite color. In this clip, I showed you guys a different way to shade other than browns and blacks and grays, and that is by using the color opposite the one you're shading on the color wheel. In this case, we're doing orange pumpkins, so we'll jump to the opposite side of our color wheel to the blues to shade. And with this particular technique, I like to use that opposing color beneath the color that we're shading. So in this case, in the areas I want to be in shade or in shadow, I've placed down a slate blue to contrast with my warm oranges. Then I went back over that with those warm oranges, some browns, and finally my blender to bring it all together. Number 2, creating brick. In this video, I wanted to take what was a blank slate of a wall and turn it into something special, a brick wall. And this required a little bit of simple drawing techniques, nothing too difficult. First, creating the brick shapes with our clear ruler and a pencil. Then we went over everything with a fine-tipped black Sharpie pen, creating those brick shapes to mimic the coloring book lines already all over our page. Then we added in some natural brick coloring with our bad camo technique. And I really like adding in some detail on this coloring page. The coloring book artist sometimes leaves space for us to play on purpose, hoping we'll take their work and add our own flair to it. Then the blender, and voila, a brick wall where there wasn't one before. Number 3, creating hardwood floors. Same thing with this technique, adding hardwood floors. Right now, this floor is completely blank, so we could leave it, we could add stone, we could do gravel, dirt, even water. Whatever story element you want to add, you can do it. In this case, I wanted a hardwood floor, so I again brought out our clear ruler and a pencil to draw in my horizontal planks. Then freehanded the vertical lines, and then made some wood grain with a really dark brown pencil. And then I filled in the floor with a few browns to add color and some shadows to add depth. And again, a hardwood floor that wasn't there before. Number 4, coloring leaves. No matter what coloring book you pick up, natural elements always seem to play a prominent role, particularly leaves and flowers. So in this video, I purposely chose a page that was filled with nothing but different sorts of leaves and different sorts of flowers. And it's especially difficult when there's different kinds of a similar element on a page because you want them to look different from one another, yet still feel cohesive. So we took each leaf type on the page and tackled them together one by one, using a very consistent color palette, yet different applications to bring this bouquet of leaves and flowers into one. Number 5, coloring trees. Another common natural element you'll see a lot of in coloring books is trees. Lots and lots of trees. And in this video, I created a backdrop of trees that was my favorite I've ever done, ever. And this is a great use of the technique that I've been showing you guys that I call lovingly bad camo. Now, with something like trees, if you colored the leaf canopy all the same green, it would just look flat. So, adding a lot of color variation can really bring it to life. But how to do that without it looking unintentionally weird sometimes is the difficult part. And that's where the bad camo technique comes in. It really starts with laying down patches of different colors that seamlessly blend into one another, using really light pressure and feathering two adjacent colors right into one another. That bad camo layer will turn into something truly unified, especially if you're using your blending pencil to bring out the vibrancy in the end. Number 6, Crayola pencils. Now, this one isn't really a technique, it's more of a tip. And I know that some of us are in the mindset that you get what you pay for. And sometimes that's true, absolutely. But I was incredibly impressed with a recent purchase I made of the Crayola pack of 100 colored pencils. These pencils are soft and light and give me an additional color range that I don't currently have in my Prismacolor Premier set. They also pair incredibly well together, those two different kinds of pencils. So I've officially added the Crayola set right into my pencil stash. As many of you know, I use two kitchen utensil dividers to store my pencils by color, and I've placed the Crayolas right in amongst the Prismacolors to use them in union. So don't be fooled by student grade pencils. They can be a great addition to your own pencil stash. Number 7, creating reflection. In a recent Christmas video I made, we tackled a page with a beautiful wreath filled with ornaments, and I wanted those ornaments to have that great little corner reflection. So we started putting down a placeholder spot of white, then working around it, building from light to dark with our golden colors. Then we went back over the whole ornament with white to bring it all together and add a glossy finish. Number 8, layering color. When you look at an old, well-worn barn, you might think, that's a red barn. But is it really? That red barn is probably filled with a ton of colors that your eye picks up on, but you just naturally read as red. Now, that barn probably has some sun-faded spots, some dirty spots, some mold, some green growing who knows what, some heavily shaded spots, etc. And as a colorist, it's really fun to reinterpret that barn's life and its history into its own color story. So you layer and you layer and you layer and layer until it looks just right. Number 9, Uni Posca white paint pen. One of my favorite coloring tools is this Uni Posca white paint pen in matte. It comes in a lot of different line weights and lots of colors, but I tend to stick with the white, and I use it to add stars, fireflies, any kind of embellishment that I think would add some life or some interest to my page. It just takes a little shake, a little depression of the tip. You add it to your page, wait a few minutes, it's completely dry. You can even add your own colored pencil right over top of it if you wanted to. And I use it to add lots of life, and I've even used it to cover up some mistakes. Number 10, fixative. Oh, I wish I found this ages ago. This fixative is an aerosol in a matte finish, and it just sprays right over top of your finished work. You don't need very much, just a spray in each direction across the page. It keeps your pencils, your soft pastels, whatever medium you just put down, this fixative locks it in place. Without it, your colored pencils can bleed through to the adjacent page after you've closed your book, which has happened to me, and it's a total bummer because it pretty much ruins that adjacent page. Without it, your soft pastel powder will continue to migrate, getting all over the place. So again, just a couple quick sprays of this fixative, which smells strongly of acetone, and you are all set. No pun intended. Number 11, a good sharpener. Now, we've spoken about the value of a good sharpener a few times before, and I cannot stress it enough. And when I say value, I don't mean that your sharpener has to be an expensive one. This one that I use here is only a couple of bucks on Amazon, but it does such a great job. So it sharpens my Prismacolors to such a great fine point, and I get almost no breakage with this. So when I talk about value, a sharpener that isn't good for your pencils and is one that causes a ton of tip breakage and essentially wastes the core of your very expensive colored pencils and only adds to your frustration. So get a pencil sharpener that you love and keep it close. Number 12, color charts. As many of you know, I am a color chart enthusiast. I am, it's true. Whenever I get a new set of pencils, the first thing I do is go online and either find a ready-made color chart or I make one of my own even. Then whenever I'm coloring, I keep it right next to me for quick and easy reference, whether I'm choosing my next color to use or using it at the very beginning of a page to plan a whole color palette. Number 13, glitter glue. If you've been watching my videos the last few weeks with Christmas and winter pages, you'll know I've been very interested in adding a bit of sparkle, a bit of glam to my holiday pages. And my first attempt with separate glue and separate glitter didn't go so well, not terrible, but not so well. So instead, I found a glitter glue combo that was just the ticket. And this white and silver shimmery one was the perfect addition to this snowy tree farm scene. Initially, it wasn't going on kind of smooth enough, so with the addition of a cheap paintbrush, I was able to push around all of this glitter glue with a lot more control, and it really added that extra sparkle I was looking for. Number 14, soft pastels. And last but not least, soft pastels. Remember how we've been talking earlier about those great big open spaces the coloring book artist sometimes leaves for us? Well, sometimes that big blank space is not a welcome addition. It's an entire background, which is a daunting task to either draw in a scene, some interest to cover it, or alternatively to cover the whole thing in a single colored pencil. They would take you hours and hours and hours and cause your arm to fall off. So a great alternative are soft pastels, and you can use these in so many ways, either by fluffing the powder with a utility knife and rubbing it into the paper with a cotton swab or a cotton puff pad, or you can go uber precision with it using a cotton swab or even put the pastel directly onto the paper. Either way, you'll definitely want to cure the page afterwards with that fixative that I mentioned earlier, or you'll be finding smeared pastel powder in the unlikeliest of places. That's it for me this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed this year in review video where we recapped a few of the highlights learned in 2017. If you would, please hit that like button, and if you want the full tutorials that I mentioned in this video, go back into the Pencilstash channel archives for more details. Also, all of you guys have been absolutely amazing in 2017, and I just want to truly thank you for watching my channel and for all of your contributions to the comments section. I also want to take this opportunity to give a huge shout out and a great big thank you to my two fellow administrators on the Pencilstash Adult Coloring Group on Facebook, Donna and Nisi. You two have made such a valuable impact to the group, and I could not do it without you. Thank you guys so much. All right, again, that'll do it for me. I will see you all in 2018.